Okay, we have begun our first weekly um, members only coaching webcast here at Hubley. This is really exciting. We've got Monica, we've got Thomas, we've got Stephanie. This is amazing. Really exciting for us to be doing this. We've got Zach on the line as well. And what we're going to do is take a look at topics that you guys are interested in. So first of all, I just want to make sure you guys are hearing me. So there's a chat box there. So go ahead and throw some in the chat. Give me a thumbs up. Let me know you guys are hearing me okay. I'm going to switch over to some video so you guys can actually see what it looks like here in the Hubley office. Hubley, this is Uzo. So this is, as you can tell, a pretty informal session here. We want this to be, relaxed, and we just want to make sure that we give you guys the opportunity to okay, Stephanie, thanks. Loud and clear. So, we're going to do this every week. I'm just going to double check, see if we got any survey submissions. But you know what? I'll go ahead. I'm going to start a poll here through the app, and I'm going to create a poll. And what I'm going to ask in the poll is, what features what feature you want to learn first? So, newsletters, groups, and we've got forums, student pages, and we've got, let's say, website, SEO, and we're also going to look at, let's see, invoices. Okay, I'm going to start the poll, guys. So go ahead and let's vote on where to start. Do 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 do. Student Pages has a vote. Do 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 do. Any more? Any more votes, guys? Do 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 do. I can do this all day. Do 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 do.
It's looking pretty unanimous here.
Well, yeah, Student Pages. All right. So we're going to start with Student Pages. I'm going to end the poll. All right, we have our first topic this week is Student Pages. And I'm going to get queued up over here to start getting this set up. Okay. And all right. Now, what I'm going to do is get the demo site queued up, and we'll go into Student Pages. And we'll talk about it. And you guys can, go ahead in the chat box and ask some questions about Student Pages. But I'll give an overview as a reminder first off. I'm just going to make sure I'm in the right account. Let's just take a minute. All right, so I'm going to start sharing my screen. And I need you guys to guide me using the chat box, what it is about Student Pages that is your burning issue. What's a question about it? Let's just see here. Okay, share my screen. All right. Okay, so we are at the Hubleyville demo site, and this is the site we use when we're just kind of showing people how Hubley works. And over here we've got students. So students, of course. Sorry if I jump back and you get this like infinite loop here. It's part of using Google Hangouts for this. So the way students work, just as an overview, I'm going to go over to the forms to begin, and we'll take a look at a form that is being used as a student form. So let's take the attendance form here. So I click on that form. So this form has this field here, which is the student's field. So when we create a form, if we add that field to it, this gives us the student, this connection to the students, which means if I'm a teacher or a school staff member or a parent that is connected to one of the students, I can go in here and I can select a student to fill out a form. I can either select all of them, or I can deselect all of them and just select Leora. So Leora is my daughter, so I'm going to pick on her. I'm going to say, this field here can be applied to any form that you can think of, right? So our form builder is completely flexible, and you can put in any types of field, any information you want to collect, of like any other form that you use on Hubbly. But now, because this student selector is here, this actually applies this submission and it ties it to that student page. So now let's just say I'm taking attendance just for Leora right now. And if I want to leave notes, she was a little late today, but not marking her tardy. And then down here as well, this is another feature of the student forms, is that there's automated notifications that can go out to the parents. And when you add the student selector to the form, you've got three options. You can have it so that it doesn't send notifications, so it just is completely turned off, no notifications. You can have it so that it always sends notifications no matter what. So to any parent of any child that's selected in this field, in this box here, the parents will get a notification with this entry. That means this entry will be sent to their email. So they'll open up their email and they'll see all the information that was entered in that form submission. Or there's a middle option that allows you to remove, people from the notifications. So for any child that's selected, any student that's selected in this box, their parents will be selectable here. They'll be pre-selected with this option, or they can be removed, right? So let's just say, there's for this particular child, let's say there's four parents. There's like, mom and dad are divorced, so there's, mom, stepdad, dad, stepmom, and there's like four in here, but you don't really need all four. So you could just remove the ones you don't need, and then we hit submit. So what's going to happen now is, like I said, I'm going to open up my email. So that when we submit, it just takes us back to the form in this case. But I'm going to open up my email and I'll bring it open for you so you can see what happens as a parent when that form is submitted. Just take a second for me to get that email. And I'm just going to jump back here for a second and see if there's any questions. So Stephanie, you're saying it's really blurry. That's strange. Sorry to hear that. That's we'll take a look at why that might be happening. Oops, why am I getting this? And okay, go away. And all right. Oh, calendars keeps popping up. Sorry, something just keeps on jumping on my screen here. And so we'll take a look at why that. Yeah, can anyone else let us know? That's Zach's asking the question to everybody. Is everyone else seeing this really blurry? Stephanie's reporting that it's really hard to see the actual presentation. So I want to make sure if there's anything I can do on my side. Well, I'll try to move slower. I think part of it could be that I'm moving slower. Okay. I just need to, I think there's something I can do to fix this here. Okay. Hopefully, so it's okay on your end, Monica. Okay, so hopefully what I just did will make things a little better, give us a little more bandwidth. All right, now what I'm going to show you is I sent that I sent over the student submission, and it shows up for the parent. I'm just going to show you here. I'm going to share my screen again. So this is my email inbox, and here is the, that email that came up, right? Get that out of the way. So this is the email that I got. So if I'm the parent, I'm actually getting that submission right here. And so that's, that's showing up there, but it's also going to show up on, right now I'm here under the student pages, and I'm going to Leora's page. So any student that was selected in that student selector box will have that entry posted onto their page. I'll try to move slowly here. So this is that entry here, and I can even preview it here, and I can print it off. And also, because I'm the one that submitted it, I can also edit that entry right here. So this editing feature is really, really handy, especially when you've got forms. And this is one that I think is really, really crucial for any school. If you have a form that parents are filling out for a student, then you should let them know that they can actually update that form. So right now, in this case, I would be a teacher, and I could say, you know what, I don't need that note. I'm going to remove that note, and I'm just going to say, you know what, she was tardy. I'm going to mark her as tardy, and I don't need to resend the notification. So now I'm updating that original submission. So it's kind of like taking a piece of paper and erasing it. No, I'm just going to refresh the screen, erasing it, and filling in new information that's more correct, but you're doing it digitally here. So here's that submission here. So that note's gone, and now it's just set to tardy. And the same goes for any other form. There's a behavior form. And also, I just want to say, if the form is longer, right, and there's more fields that are not in this view, if you click this plus button, it'll show you other fields. Let me see if there's another example here. So here's the field trip permission form. If I click this button to expand it, here's more information. This is so everything that was in that form will show up here. And this is how we make sure it fits on all screens. It's called being responsive. So this is why this also works on mobile too. So all the details here. And so let's say this is an emergency information form, emergency contact information form for a child. The parents are filling that out. So the parents will have the ability to click edit entry, right? And then they will be able to update that information with new emergency contact information that gets updated every now and then. Or maybe there's a I'm sure every year, you've got a list of people that are allowed to pick up students. So that's another example of of a parent form that could be updated, and it makes it really easy for you as the school to go and see all the forms about a particular child, right? So if you want to be able to just go and look up basically all the paperwork, which is now digital, but digital paperwork, if you will, like a digital filing cabinet for this one child, you just go to their student page and it's all there organized. You can see who their parents are, and this is a link to their. You can just click on these avatars here to go to their parent profiles and send them a message. This is a really, really important page that we're finding a lot of schools need a little bit of coaching on how to use, because there's a lot of workflow reduction opportunity here with these student pages. So let's just see if there's any questions on student pages here. I'm just going to stop presenting. Hold on. Okay, so Stephanie, I'm sorry, you're still having a hard time seeing things. Sorry to hear that. Yeah, so any questions on that? Any questions on, what might be possible with those student pages? If I'm telling everyone things that everybody knows, then that's a good thing, but because this is like the important stuff. But feel free to jump in the chat box and tell me if there's anything else you'd like to know about student pages. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you how to actually make a form connect to a student page. So I'm going to jump into forms. So I'm going to start presenting again. So this is really important. Now we, of course, we do this service for you. Like we set up all your forms, and we'll always help with it. So I'm going to go into the site dashboard, the admin dashboard. And I'm logged in as a school, basically as a school admin, like what a director would see. And here we are at the dashboard. I'm going to try to there's a whole bunch of things I'd like to talk about here, but I'll just focus on the forms. So let's say I'm going to go into the form section. And I'm going to make I'm going to make an emergency contact form. I don't think we have one in here. We have a whole lot of forms in here. No, so I'm going to make a new form called emergency contact information. So this is a great example of a form that parents are going to be filling out for their child. That will be then connected automatically. So when you go to create a new form, you get some helper text here. But we're going to just start off with picking students here. So this, if I just click on students, it's going to add that field to the form. So this is the student form, and I'm gonna change the title just to be select. And then let's think. What are some? Can you guys give me some ideas as to what are pieces of information you collect on emergency contact form? So obviously we'll say, add a name field. So and we can change the name to emergency contact name. Let's say number 1 name, right? And then we'll say we would probably want their phone number. So I'll go to the phone field, and we probably want a couple phone numbers for that person, and we probably want an email address. So let's say home phone. We'll call this one cell phone. And then we might want to add a second one, like to have two emergency contacts. So what I'll do is I'll make this more specific for each one of these fields, because we're going to add essentially the same fields for the second emergency contact. So I'll add that at the beginning of every field so that it's really clear when we look up this information. You know what? Actually, what's even better is just to have one. We'll just say, so emergency contact per form. In this case, every form is a little bit different, but in this case, we actually don't need to specify, because it'll be every time you want, every time a parent is going to add in a new emergency contact, it'll just be for that child and it'll be listed. Oops, wrong way. And maybe you want also an address. I'm going to click address as well. Okay, so a pretty simple form, just who do we contact in case of emergency? And you might want to even add in something like relation. Could do this as a drop down with some predefined options, but let's just say, you're going to fill it in relation to student. There you go. Okay, update the form. So when I hit update form, you can do this you can make edits, but that button is basically, for the first time you're making it, it's just the save button. So what happens when we click update form? It automatically puts it on the forms page. But I'm going to do one other thing here. I'm going to go into the settings of this form, and I'm going to specify what roles can fill out this form, because this isn't for teachers to fill out, right? So there's some defaults here when we create a form. And this form requires the user to be logged in. If I was to uncheck that, then this would all disappear. And so there's a lot of settings. We're not going to get into all these different settings. A lot of them are pretty self-explanatory. But in the form settings is an area here called restrictions. And what we're going to do is we're going to go into roles allowed to view their existing entries. And we'll keep everybody there because let's see, role to modify their entries. So we're going to move this to parent. Select that role. And we don't need teacher in here. We actually don't need teacher in any of these. To view others' entries. Well, to view, actually, we do want teachers, because if they're connected to that student, you want them to be able to look up who the emergency contact is, of course. Roles allowed to modify others. That's it. So that's all set now. So now this form, the permissions of this form for who can submit entries and who can view entries is now set up, and it can be changed according to whatever your school's needs are. You can also not just select roles, but you can actually select specific users. So on any form, if there's specific users that need permissions to view their entries or view others' entries or modify their entries or modify other entries, then you can add them in there. Okay, so that's all set correctly now. And what we're going to do is we're going to go back to the front of the site. We're going to go back to the forms page. Every Hubbly site has this forms page. It might be removed from the navigation, but that page is there, and you can go to your URL and just type in /forms, and that will always take you to this page. And let's go to that form. Emergency contact information. So now I'm going to fill out that form. It's been added to the list. And I'm going to say this is for Leora. And I'm going to say first name is, say my mom, Judith Manoff. Home phone number, 121. She's got a very simple phone number. Her cell phone number is exactly the same. Her email is judith@hubley.com. Email, we don't need the address. And these can all be required, by the way. We'll just say grandmother. And I'm going to submit that. And I didn't change the default confirmation. We can show you how to do that as well. You know what, I'm going to do that right now. Just since we're here, I'll teach you a lesson about forms too now. So confirmations. So since, actually I'm going to go back for 1 second. I'm going to grab the exact URL. There's many ways. There's always a lot of options. There's always ways of doing anything with Hubly. So confirmations here are one of our more advanced features. So there's a default confirmation. I'm going to change it because it's not a standard, sort of contact form. It's this is a more specific form. So I'm going to redirect to that specific emergency contact information form. So what's going to happen now is when that form is submitted, it'll just bring you right back to that form because, as an example, you might want to, there we go, you might want to enter the same information again. Oh, sorry, another, a parent might want to enter 3 different emergency contacts. So I'm going to go and do that again. So I'm the parent, I'm logged in, and I'm going to submit another person. So I'm going to say Gary Landon, and that his number is the same. His email is gary@hubley.com. Skip the address for now. I'm going to say grandfather. So now when I submit the form, I change that confirmation, and it's going to bring me right back to this page. So there we go. So now I could even add a third person if I wanted to. But now let's go back to the student page and see what we did here. So Leora's student page is going to show up in a second, and it's loading. And now we're going to go and take a look at the entries for the emergency contact form. There it is. So here are the 2 entries here for Leora. Now, this is just what I want to actually clarify that this is how you can see these entries just for Leora. But if you want to see all the entries for all the students, right, on the front end, there's 2 places you could do that. The quick and simple places on the front end. So just so that you're clear, if we go to the emergency contact information, and we just go to view entries, and we click on that to open it up, this is now going to show us all the entries for all the students. Right now we've just done Leora, but if there was 300 other students with their emergency contact information, it would show up here. So let me show you what I mean. So if I go to emergency contact information again, fill out that form. And now I'm going to pick a different student. I'll just, yeah, okay, I'll pick Harry Potter. Oh, I selected all. That's not what I meant to do. I'm going to deselect all, and I'm going to just select Harry Potter. And I'm just going to pound the keys here, just for speed's sake. I mean, no need to be smart and witty. And blah, 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 and then hit submit. Now let's take a look at, where are we? Where's my forms page? Here we are. Now, if we go to emergency contact form, I got to refresh this page. This is an older version because they didn't have the new form on here. Here it is, emergency contact form, and I click on view entries. Now it's going to show all the entries here, but I can easily filter. So I can just say, I just want to look up Harry Potter. So I used the search and I queried, and it showed me right away automatically just these are the emergency contact people. So this is the fastest way for you to look up emergency contact information for one of your kids. And of course, you want to do things as quickly as possible when there's an emergency. So you could just go in here. You could either take a look at all of them. You could export these or print these off. But if you want to look up, okay, who are Leora's emergency contact people, and we see that there's more in here. So we actually have this button. So again, I can, it's if there was 10 more fields, it would just all be found underneath that green button. So these are just the additional preview and edit entry fields. So this is really helpful because parents can keep on parents can go to their students page and update this information, but you as maybe the school leader, school admin, you can just go into this full list, and filter down by student here, or you can go into the student page as well, just like the parents. All right, so let's take a break here and let's see if there are any questions. Okay, so okay, Thomas, you see everything fine. That's really good. Okay. Are there any questions on how to use forms with student pages, or what you can do? So the thing that we, really the most important reason behind making the student pages feature was to give both parents and also the staff a quick and easy way to see information or records about a particular child. So there's two ways of doing that. When you've got a form that's filled out for that child, uh, it'll show up on the student page. It'll also show up, in all the entries, and that which you can easily filter down by the name of the student, in that list of entries. Okay. So I just want to see if we're coming up to the end of the session here. Want to see if anybody has any more questions on the student pages and how they work. Otherwise, we'll wrap it up today. If you got a question, throw it into the chat box. Otherwise, we'll wrap it up today. This is recorded as well, so you can always watch it at a later time, and they'll be available to you. It's members only access. And it looks like there's no more questions, so we'll wrap that up today. And join us next week. We'll do this every Friday at noon, and run through standard Hubly things, or we'll take ideas from show examples that we see our different customers using, and present them to everybody, as like sort of case studies, so you can get some great ideas on what you can do at your school. Can you screen share with somebody here to see this better? Yeah, for sure. You can set up a support session with our team anytime. Go to support.hubly.com. Stephanie just asked that question. Can she share the screen, and just to see this better? Sorry that you're having troubles with it, but definitely we can run you through this. Just make sure you know how to use student pages, and so just go ahead to support.hubly.com and book a support session, and one of our available team members will run you through the basics, and also show you some any other ideas, or answer any other questions you might have. All right, thanks guys, it's been a real pleasure, and great to see you guys showing up and getting some ideas and some refreshers, and we will see you next week, Friday at noon Eastern Standard Time. See you guys.